Max, your line is now live.
Hi, Paul.
How are you?
So we've been talking a while ago with Sabah, and he said that he wants to beat you, that he thinks he's superior than you, and that record is not it's not faced by your record of 59 fights. So what do you think about that?
I think he has to say that for his confidence. I know already that he's nervous. He's already doubting himself. And it's a big change from the interview he gave when we were supposed to fight pre-COVID, when he was saying that he was a fan of me and, he's been watching me fight for a while. So that in itself tells me that he's nervous about the fight, and it's just for his confidence he's saying stuff like that, just to reassure him that he deserves to be in there with me.
And what's left or what's next for you after 59 fights?
Who knows? I'm just here to fight Friday night, put on a fantastic performance, stop the guy, take him out there, leave no questions to my ability, and just put on a great show.
Mike, go ahead.
Hey, Paul. So how relieving will it be for you to finally get this over with? I know obviously this fight has fizzled out twice, already. You just mentioned a kind of change in tone from Sabah. For you, taking one fight at a time and not looking towards the future, is this going to be nice to get this opponent in this fight, out of the way?
Just to fight, I like to fight, and I'm just looking forward to fighting, regardless of who is in there with me on Friday night. Just so happens it's going to be Sabah. And, on paper, he should bring it. It should be a stand-up war, but I don't think it's going to be as much of a war while it's standing. And I think there's going to be quite a few takedown attempts from himself. But apart from that, I'm just looking forward to getting back in there. That's the main thing, getting back in there, displaying my skills and taking care of business.
He did say that he was a little surprised when the rankings came out that you weren't even in the, top 5. Finally getting back into competition and looking to display your skill set. Do you believe now that you're back in competition, there's a new rankings list out, that you'll show not only yourself, but, those making the rankings, that you belong inside that top 5 as well?
It's difficult because I think the rules of Bellator rankings, you have to have competed in the past 12 months. So with COVID, I haven't competed, so I can see why I'm not in there. The other thing is my last fight at 170 pounds was against Eric Silva. The fight against Said Awad was 175 pounds. This fight's 175 pounds. So I understand why I'm not there, but, everybody knows I deserve to be in the top 10. Everybody knows, I'm definitely top 3 in Bellator in the welterweight division. Just so happens, like I say, this fight's at 175 pounds.
Sam?
Hi, Paul. Sam Oakley from MMA UK here. A while ago on Instagram, you put a post out where you said, quote, that soon you will put the blade to rest. So I was wondering, at this point in your career, after so many pro fights, as the last interviewer mentioned, what is it that's fueling you going into fights? What is it that gets you up in the morning in training camp?
I love to fight. And above that, very few people who meet me have the same idea of me prior to meeting me. Everyone thinks I'm this fucking psychotic fighting machine, but, deep down, I'm a martial artist. What brought me to martial arts was ninjas, That is what got me into martial arts. It wasn't the fact that I was some kind of street fighter or the, well, let's just say that, initially I wasn't some kind of street fighter. I just wanted to be a ninja. I wanted to disappear. I wanted to do the meditation things, intertwine my fingers and fucking, summon a dragon or some shit like that. So deep down, I'm a martial artist, and that's what keeps me going. I've said it, and it's a bit of a cheesy quote, but it's the endless search for perfection that drives me. I just want to be the best martial artist I can be, and you can see that with, I've just recently been awarded my black belt. I'm still here in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. I'm still here, here at Bellator, still competing against these guys, and after so many fights and so many years in the game. So I just want to be the best I can be.
Awesome. Just one more from me. As you may be aware, it's recently been 10 years since your fight with one Nick Diaz, a fight that many have said had one of the greatest rounds in MMA history. The sport has changed and evolved so much since then. So how does it feel looking back on that fight 10 years later, looking back on that chapter of your career?
It's not something I look back on often. You know, I get people tagging me in it and all of this, like the best round in history or whatever, but I lost the fight. You know, I'm in there to win. So initially I would share it because, you know, I was in there with Nick Diaz, who I regard as one of the best mixed martial arts fighters of my generation. But now I don't tend to share it. I lost the match. I didn't do what I was supposed to do in preparation for the fight. So it's just another fight. But the Masvidal victory I look back on because I whooped his ass. I got that victory, and now he's claiming to be the BMF, but we all know who the real BMF is, so that's that.
Donna?
Paul, will a part of you never feel like you're fully done if you haven't got in there one more time at Michael Venom Page?
No, not at all. I disregard that guy a lot, and you've heard what I've said in previous interviews. I truly believe in my heart. You know, Marvin Hagler retired after the Sugar Ray Leonard fight because he knew in his heart he won the fight. And if you're at peace with that, regardless of what it says on paper, then you're at peace with it. I know I won that fight, so it is what it is.
What do you think of his position in the rankings? A lot of people saying that based on quality of opponent, maybe he's a little bit high.
You know, time will tell. He's an entertaining fighter against the level of opponents that he's looked good against. So only time will tell for him. He will either prove his doubters wrong or, you know, he will prove the haters right. So I don't know if that makes sense, but you kind of get what I mean.
Dylan, go ahead.
Hey there, Paul. Appreciate you making some time today.
No problem.
Now, I was noticing with this Sabah Homasi fight here, it's been canceled a couple times here, and it seems like it's been on your radar for just, you know, well over a year now, around a year and a half. How does it feel to finally be just, you know, on the precipice of this fight finally coming to fruition?
Yeah, it's good to, like I said, it's just good to get back in there and compete. You know, like I was supposed to fight him a few times, but everything happens for a reason. First time he got injured. Second time it was COVID. He might have even been in the lineup to fight against me in Italy, but he couldn't get out there. And it turns out that you know, I wasn't well after the weigh-ins there anyway, so the fight probably wouldn't have happened. So the timing's right. You know, the stars have aligned, so that the fight's supposed to happen. The universe says so, and Friday we're going to fight.
We'll take a couple more here. Damon?
Hey, Paul, you mentioned something there that kind of caught my ear when you were talking about Jorge Masvidal. You know, you had that win over him. You know, as a guy who has fought, you know, at the top of the division for so many years, what does a title mean to you now when you look at your career? When you think about all the iconic fights you've had, the iconic wins you've had, like, does that matter as much, if not maybe more than a title at this point when you think about, I mean, all the memorable things you've done in your career?
It's a hard one, and I often think about that, but I would, you know, I came in the sport to be a champion, and most of the promotions I fought for, I've been a champion or I've been a contender, and you know, it kind of sucks to always be a contender, and I would still love to be a champion, but like you say, I've been in memorable fights. And, you know, if you can make up titles, you know, Masvidal and Nick Diaz made up the BMF title, and, you know, Masvidal won and got paid a bunch of money, and I'm also in it for the money. So if I can make up a title, fight for my own title and get paid a bunch of cash, then I'll do that as well. But I'm just here to compete against the best and perfect myself as a fighter.
Thanks, Paul.
All right, last one here. Nate?
Yes, sir. Congratulations on the BJJ black belt. Is that something that we should be expecting to maybe see on display this weekend, or is it just part of the journey?
It's part of the journey, and I would choose, you know, my jiu-jitsu goals anyway. And the journey there isn't over by any means. But I think there's a possibility that you will see some of those improvements Hopefully not, because I know he's going to come for the takedowns. Hopefully I can stuff those takedowns and get away and keep the fight standing. But should I be on my back or should I be in top position? I think there will be notable improvements, and I have the confidence to do it now. I've always had the ability. I've only ever been submitted by Rory McDonald and Jake Shields. Two of the best grapplers in MMA. So I think that side of it, my natural ability on the ground has been underrated, but there's definite improvements, and I have a whole lot of extra confidence on the ground. Yeah.
All right. Thanks for the time, Paul. Good luck on Friday.
Nice one.